Today on the channel, I close my eyes. Only for a moment, but the moment's gone. Dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind is what Kansas sang many moons ago, but today we're singing all about Dusty, G.I. Joe Classified series.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another G.I. Joe Classified unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got G.I. Joe's very own Dusty. But remember, for all your G.I. Joe needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10% on all in-stock items, and of course, anything over $39 does ship free. And today, we've got a longtime favorite, Dusty, entering the G.I. Joe line. And Dusty, one of the last figures we're going to get in plastic-free packaging, just kind of the end of an era there. And one of the reasons I got out of my minimum box set of G.I. Joe Classified, I didn't want the differences between the packaging, all that kind of stuff, and I wanted to move those funds towards the Super 7 Ultimate G.I. Joes that are hopefully coming sooner rather than later. But Dusty, an OG classic G.I. Joe from back in the day, always loved Dusty. He was always driving the Marauder tank for me as a little kid. Really loved Dusty back in the cartoon series. We'll never forget that episode where we thought he was a turncoat. Oh boy, we were all thinking, I can't believe he's going to join Cobra. I can't believe this. It was quite gripping television for a little 6-year-old Kyle. Still, after all these years, it still is. But loved Dusty. That was probably my favorite performance of Dusty. Oh, Oscar-worthy performance in that G.I. Joe episode back in the day. But Dusty's an interesting one. It'll be interesting if you guys know your G.I. Joe history. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. Will we get a repaint down the line of him in his Tiger Force outfit? I kind of hope not, as he was probably my least favorite. Nah, I wouldn't say least favorite, but he was one of my least favorite Tiger Force entries back in the day. His new decor in the Tiger Force gear just didn't really jive with what I was looking for. But I would not be shocked. We know we got Bazooka Tiger Force. We're getting regular Bazooka. We got Rakondo Tiger Force. I'm sure we're going to get regular Rakondo. You know how that goes. Duke, there's another one. Get both versions of. So I have a feeling down the line we might get a Dusty repaint. So I guess stay tuned for that on the channel down the line. But of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. So without further ado, let's take a look at old Dusty. There he is, Dusty looking good. The artwork, interesting. The artwork's all over the place with the Classified line, as we know. Very desert motif. Not sure if I'm a huge fan of that artwork, but it's only going to be here momentarily, as it's going to get the old see you later, as you guys know. Big window box. We're all going to miss that. G.I. Joe Classified, Dusty, of course. It just says Dusty. It's interesting how sometimes they give the full name of the character, sometimes just the code name. This is one of those times where we get just the code name, and it's Dusty, as you guys know. He is number 49 in the series. We're kind of jumping all over with the numbers, as we've seen, but that's distribution in this day and age, I guess we'll say. On the side, we got Dusty. Very interesting. He's down there feeling the sand in his hands. Dust in the wind, as one might say. He's doing that down there. On the back, that's one thing. I'm not a big fan of the Classified series. You guys know I love that artwork, but man, a little something back there. Just a little something. That's all I want. Not going to get it. Not going to get it. But without further ado, let's get him out of the package. Let's see what's going on with our boy Dusty. Got the Joe logo back there looking good in blue. Up high. See you later. Goodbye. Plastic prison time. Here's old Dusty. One of the famed Dusties of the action figure world. Of course, Dusty Rhodes being another one that we all love. But let's pull him out of the package. Let's see what's going on with this guy. And as usual with the Classified series, lots of different accessories. You always got to be careful. You don't want to lose this stuff. As we do know, these will all be in little parchment paper bags here very shortly. So I guess we'll get used to that very soon. And can I get this final weapon out? There we go. Whoa. And there it is. See you later. Goodbye. All right. Let's break it down. Let's see what's going on with old Dusty here. Let's take a look at everything. No extra hands. We're accustomed to that in the Classified, not getting extra hands very often. We do get a little knife dagger right here. Nice sculpt, kind of circular sculpt on the bottom. I got the nice silver blade going on. Just a very good looking blade. It does stick into his boot, and we'll do that here shortly, but it looks good. And we've seen a lot of ones like this. I don't think we've seen this very one before. So we do have that. We do have his helmet. Always interesting because, once again, I always compare these to my childhood playing days of the Joes. And it's funny, Dusty with a removable helmet just seems so foreign to me, so strange. As we know as kids, a lot of those helmets, almost all those helmets, for most part, a lot of the guys, they were stuck on there. There was always a few that you could remove the helmet, but a lot were stuck in there. Dusty was one of those guys that was stuck in there. I would have really liked to seen the back, the flap kind of that goes to the back, always kind of looks like hair. I would have liked to seen this soft goods. I think that would have been a really, really nice touch and an ode to the past a little bit, but it's neither here nor there. We do get the big old backpack for Dusty. All in brown would have been great. Obviously, they've only got so much money for paint apps and things like this on these figures, but they could really dress this up. Customizers could as well. Always love the canteen water bottle on the side, a throwback to the old one. Looks really good there, all kinds of pockets, everything else, but just one color, it does kind of get lost. All the sculpting really does get lost in the one color. And we get 2 sets of goggles. What are we doing here? So I guess we got one maybe that goes over the helmet and then one for just the head. But we get 2 sets of goggles, very similar, one bigger, one smaller. And so yeah, you got goggles. Choose your own goggle adventure. That's the first one for the channel. Then we do get his weapon here, and I love the little kickstand action on this one. So you can pull that up, pull it down. It's interesting, the gun's all in black, one sculpt, another new gun we haven't seen in the line yet. It does look really good, but the kickstand is kind of a tan color. Does kind of be a little bit of an eyesore, at least to me. I guess depends on yourself, but it does look weird. And then we do get the clip, of course, and we've talked about it before on the channel. Not a huge fan of these clips. I think you stick them in and they go in forever. If we could save some money on our figures, get something else, maybe that soft goods on the back, I'd be okay with this being permanently stuck in there. I know some people have said, hey, I'm a toy photographer, I want that stuff. Some people like to display and put the clip in. I get all that kind of stuff. It comes down to personal preference. But I'm going to clip that in and it'll never be removed once I get that clipped in. It's always interesting figuring out the way it goes in. I don't know if I got that right either. I'll play with it later maybe. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'm going to stick it in there. There we go. But yeah, there it is. There's his weapon. Very good. No pistol, no handgun, anything like that. It feels like he needed one more weapon, but maybe not. Who knows? Now we get old Dusty out of here, and an interesting one. Looking very much like Duke. Obviously a little bit different, but it's kind of that haircut, I guess, of the time. Haircut, one might say you could set your watch to. I think you could with this one. But very, very good face scan, or I don't know what you call it on him, but it does look very nice. He does got the paint, kind of the desert paint going on there. That does look really cool. And then you got the blonde hair going on. A good skin tone color on this one. I really do like the skin tone color here. That does look good. Very interesting. One of the first things I noticed is he's kind of framed out by his vest. The vest is not removable, but he's framed out right in the middle, and it is a very glossy plastic color there, where then you get to the arms, and it's not as glossy. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it definitely does catch your eye. It needed to be a little darker, maybe a little bit more matte compared to the rest. So that is weird. It's, I guess, just different plastics that are being used there. So we do notice that. That was one of the first things I noticed when I looked straight on this figure. I love the G.I. Joe, the Tador. Of course, we know that's his name. You got the American flag going on there, G.I. Joe. Looks really nice. Of course, you got the camo print throughout on the character. Looks really good. He is a desert specialist, of course. Get a Spearhead and Max. Aren't they desert guys too? And Bobcat as well. Let's get those in the future. But we're going to go through the articulation real quick on this one. The arms do go all the way around. Do got a little butterfly action as well, which is always nice. Got a bicep cut. Double jointed pinless elbows. I'm here for that. You do get the hands here. Back and forth. Not a ton of movement on those hands though. We do get the ab crunch. You do get the waist articulation. You get all kinds of head articulation because the neck is also articulated. So you can move the head and the neck. So tons of different looks you can get out of that one if you are so inclined. You can do those big old dusty desert splits. Man, he could jump over that whole Marauder if he needs to. And then, of course, you got the drop down hips. Thigh cut, of course, double jointed knees, pinless as well, boot cut, and then ankles back and forth. We did talk about this knife. It does slide right in there on the boot. Looks really good, always like that. Nice brown boots on him. A little bit looseness in the crotch area here for me. A little bit looseness in the legs. Not the worst I've ever seen, but there is a little bit of looseness in that right leg for me. He does got a sculpted in belt buckle with some pockets there. We'll call them little dusty pockets. Pockets on the vest as well. Of course, the backpack does just plug into the back. Very G.I. Joe style, as it really should. I do wish we could store some of this stuff, like the goggles and stuff. We could store those on there somehow. Let's put this helmet on. That really adds to the whole deal here, the whole effect. And oh my gosh, what are we doing? What are we doing? So this helmet is a little interesting as it doesn't fit as well as I would like it to. Very strange. It feels like you push it down and it kind of rises back up on him. It's get a little bit bobbly there. Now you honestly could get some sticky tack, put that in there, stick it in, and I think it would stay very well. But you dump this upside down, it's coming right off. There's no hold to this, which I wish there was a little bit of a hold to it. And it's just a little bit bobbly and gets off-centered. So that is a little bit of a pain point, especially as I talked about earlier with Dusty. He's so iconic with his helmet on. That's what I think of when I close my eyes every night and I think of Dusty, which I do a couple nights a week. Let's call it 3 nights a week. I think of Dusty with his helmet on, not with his helmet off. So that's what I might do. It's an easy fix. It's something we shouldn't have to do, but it is an easy fix. A little sticky tack in there. Bam, there you go. You're off to the races. Whoa, 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 stop the clock. It's future Kyle here breaking in as I was taking the glamour shots, the beautiful pictures of our favorite guy, Dusty here. And one thing I did do and figure out is if you put this extra set of goggles here, the smaller set, you put them backwards on him, kind of like a little bandana there, and then you put the helmet on over that. It's probably not the way it's supposed to go, but boy, oh boy, does that tighten that helmet up. No issues with that. I think that is the way to do it. And then, of course, you put the regular goggles on the top of the helmet. Those are very similar to the Cobra Viper, where they're not as snug as I would like them to be, but it will stay on. But if you want a way to put those extra goggles to use, have those on here instead of a baggie somewhere in your collection, that is a pretty good pro tip right there. So a little pro tip on old Dusty G.I. Joe Classified. But not bad. Dusty, now this probably, like anything, it's not for everybody, but Dusty was an iconic character to me in my childhood playing days. So I do enjoy Dusty. He would be on my top 25 classified figures I wanted to see. He would be on that list, so I do like that. But compared to some of his other G.I. Joe classified brethren, I don't know if he comes up at the top tier of the list. I don't know if I could easily say that he's a top 10 G.I. Joe classified of 2022. We will have that list on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe, as we will count down my top 10 favorite G.I. Joe classified figures of 2022. As of right now, I'll have to sleep on it a little bit, but I don't think he would make the top 10. But that's not saying it's a terrible, terrible figure. A couple paint issues here with the mismatched color. The helmet is a little bit rough, I will say that. But besides that, it's still Dusty. It's a character I like. It's a character I wanted. He does look good from afar as well. And they can't all be Serpentor. They can't all be Flint. We understand that. So there you go. Does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? Look at that. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% on your stands. Spend your money on your figures, not your stands. These are $2.99 at ringside right now. Kyle saves another 10% on top of that. Let's get out some other brethren of him. A couple of bad dudes right there. There's the boy Outback. Another Tiger Force guy, a Target exclusive. Like I said, will we see Dusty in his Tiger Force motif? Maybe we'll get some fixes on some of these colors and things like that. And then, of course, you got to compare him to the gold standard, Old Flint, the leader of G.I. Joe, the leader of Tiger Force. You'll never change my mind. But let's get that repaint of Flint ASAP. I'd take that every day. But looking good against some other G.I. Joe brethren right here. So Dusty, a bit of a mixed bag. It depends how you view Dusty as a character and how bad your issues are with the looseness, the helmet, and what you think about the plastic, different colors there. That plastic's not the game changer, be-all, end-all, but it does catch your eye, at least in my opinion. But what say you guys out there in YouTube land? What say you G.I. Joe fans? How do you feel about this Dusty? What do you feel about the Dusty character in general? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. You might as well like the video. Subscribe to the channel, as we got videos every single day. I can get used to this G.I. Joe figure a week. Every week we've had a G.I. Joe figure for like the last month, and I love it. I love unboxing one G.I. Joe figure a week. That would be the greatest thing. Give us 52, just give us one a week. Man, I'd be here for that. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. Don't forget about the Patreon channel, where you can get videos like this much earlier than traditional YouTube. You get bonus content, exclusive content, and best of all, you do support the channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Don't forget to hit me up and follow along over at social media. SirPaul64 is where you're going to find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Dusty, G.I. Joe Classified, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.